4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to In the Mix Africa, the football show that zones in on what I consider to be the most important continent in the world. And if you don't believe me, you're allowed to check where they call the cradle of mankind. Everything begins in Africa, and that's why we make sure that you get the latest. And of course, the latest, particularly in this region, is the COSAFA Cup. We love the COSAFA Cup. Why? Because it really highlights local talent. And especially with AFCON around the corner, you want to see who those shining stars are, who don't usually have the brightest lights that their counterparts get, especially when they're playing international football. But all of that will also be encapsulated with the presence of Mr. Jonathan Mbaha, a sports journalist. And trust me, he's got all the knowledge. He's right here, and it's going to be exciting. We're going to be chatting. We're not going to rush into it. Welcome to In the Mix Africa.
Taking flight has never been easier. Paratus is introducing Sky-Fi internet packages with speeds that will have you reaching for your seatbelts, starting from $500 million excluding VAT per month, with speeds reaching up to 10 megabits per second. There's even a prepaid option where you can top up your Sky-Fi internet for just $15 million per gigabyte. No contracts, no fuss. Visit your nearest Paratus branch to find out more. Or go to paratus.africa/Namibia to sign up online.
Always prepared, Paratus.
All right, it's time for us to kick off, and as promised, I said we are talking COSAFA, but I'm not talking COSAFA alone. I am here with Mr. Jonathan Mbaha, sports journalist, a man running his own online platform, making sure you stay informed on what's happening as far as football goes. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine, Ashwyn.
Yeah,
yes.
You're good?
I'm
Good.
good.
How does it feel to be on In the Mix Africa? This is our first time. This is your first time on this show, right?
Yes, no, it's my first time, and I feel at home because this is sports. This is what I do.
This is what you do. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's footballs everywhere. This is your life. How long have you been a sports journalist?
I've been a sports journalist, let me say, actively for the past 5 years.
Wow.
Yes, but I've been in media for the longest time.
For the longest time, all right, sir. And what made you just streamline to sports journalism?
I love football. I love football in and out, local and international football. But I would say that it's something that I have passion for. It's something that I live for.
Yes.
Yes. So,
and I think that's very important, Jonathan, because a lot of people work a job just, A to B, get the paycheck, leave. But once you manage to align your work with your passion, you get so much more out of it. Have you felt like the last 5 years where you're focused on what you're passionate about and what you work with, do you feel like it's been very rewarding for you just on a personal level? I'm not talking about, how much money you made or whatever. Just like, how has it felt waking up every day and doing what you love?
It's a good feeling to be doing what you love, because before the money is the passion, because the passion is what drives everything. And I focus more on loving the game and just focusing on that. That's the fact that the passion that I have for it is what drives me.
All right. I love that. Now we know COSAFA started this week, and COSAFA, of course, years growing up, no matter what Southern African country you come from, COSAFA has always been a big tournament. Focus is on the local players. It is in South Africa. Let's have a look at the groups, Jonathan, just so I can get some thoughts on how you feel everything's stacked up. So Group A, the COSAFA Cup in South Africa, is South Africa, Mozambique, Mauritius, Zimbabwe. Group B, Namibia can never escape Angola, but that's what it is. Angola, Namibia, Malawi, Lesotho. Group C, Morocco, Madagascar, Eswatini. Group D, Zambia, Comoros, Botswana. Now, before we take this off the screen, Jonathan, I just want to get quick predictions, and I need you to be, as honest as possible. Just your opinion. I'm not expecting you to get this 100% right. Who do you think is taking Group A?
I think Group A, I'll give it to South Africa. I think.
All right. Oh, we'll talk about that. In spite of their loss yesterday, we'll talk about that. Group B.
Obviously, Land of the Brave.
Hey, you know what it is. 100%. I like that prediction. Group C.
It's obvious. I'll go with Morocco.
Yeah. I think that one I can see quite clearly as well. In Group D, does that one feel obvious to you as well?
100. I'll go with Zambia.
You go with Zambia. Yes. All right. Okay, no, and Zambia has been performing well. We saw them with the Under-17 Girls Cup. They won that for a second time in a row. And of course, COSAFA aside, Chipolopolo won the AFCON, I believe, in 2012. They do have a solid base for African football. But a couple of the games have already happened earlier in the week. South Africa falling to Mozambique. Was that a shocker for you?
It was a shock in terms of stats. Or if you believe in the Southern African region, that South Africa is one of the powerhouse. But having watched the game, I was very privileged to watch the game. Mozambique were the upper hand.
Okay.
South Africa had one shot throughout the whole game on target.
One shot.
One shot.
Sheesh.
Throughout the whole game.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough. Look, yes. I watched the Zimbabwe-Mauritius game. Don't ask me why I chose that game, but I watched the Zimbabwe-Mauritius game. I was disappointed in Zimbabwe's performance. Mauritius had a VAR goal disallowed because of a handball. I do feel like Zimbabwe could have done something. Now, I'm not talking necessarily because of Zimbabwe's stature, but I think current form. Of course, the COSAFA team is going to be slightly different, but I felt like, a lot more money is being poured into their Premier League. I wanted to see more quality, but COSAFA is still going to be going on at least until the 15th of June. So, we'll see how it all pans out, so to speak. Now, you felt very strongly about Morocco in this group. Of course, Madagascar still growing into the game, but how do you feel Morocco will fare throughout this tournament?
Obviously, I think Morocco didn't bring their best.
Oh.
Yes, but Morocco always have a good team because their players, they are always in Europe. They play European football. You will never find a Moroccan player in South Africa, which is the best league in Africa. They either play at home or in Europe.
Okay,
yes.
All right.
So it will be. Their style of play is also different from the Southern African region.
Yes.
So they will have an upper hand against the Southern African team. So,
all right. And you feel like with Zambia, the experience is going to pay off yet again?
100%, yes. Zambia they have built themselves from the ground.
From the ground, yes.
Everyone, you mentioned Zambia in America, they know what you're talking about in terms of football. Across Europe, it's the same thing. So we also respect them here.
And as the Zambians themselves say, Zambia kuchalo. Well, right now I'm going to let Jonathan swing over, get some cooking going before we continue our football chats. You are still within the Mix Africa.
Okay, viewers, we are here at my favorite part of the show, which is where we get to handle food, of course, and I'm here with Jonathan here to braai for us today. How are you today?
And thank you. I'm good. How are you doing today?
I am always happy when I get to braai on In the Mix Africa. Of course, we're keeping it simple. There's nothing wrong with simple, because we all love kapana. So I'm going to let you braai the kapana. How experienced are you in braaiing? First question.
Yes. Not specifically kapana, but meat, yes. I have quite an experience. It's Namibia,
Yeah.
One of our
Like you
highly
said
favored.
earlier, as long as there's meat on the grill, we're all very happy. So I've spiced this for you. I hope I did a sufficient job in spicing.
Yes.
So the grill is yours. It's nice and hot. So you are free to start grilling. And while you get grilling, I need to know, you spoke to Ashwyn, you guys spoke all the football logistics, which is not my specialty. I'll leave that to Ashwyn. I'm just here to get to know you as well, where your love for sports stemmed from. Because as a journalist, somewhere at a point you must have, encountered being a football player yourself. You realize that you want to let the sport be more known amongst Namibians and beyond borders as well. So how did this love start? Where did you start playing football? How? Why?
Yeah, I actually didn't play football. I just played at the school level, like class tournament and so forth. So I wasn't that good. Maybe that's the honest part of it. Yes, that's the honest part of it. But then throughout the years, I have just been following football. Yeah, I love football, local football, World Cup,
Yes.
Premier League, and mostly I've set up my sports place to be like just local football oriented. Yeah, so to put our football on the map as well, as we have other leagues on the map. So that's how I started. I didn't play the game, not professionally, but every time I have
still
boots.
played?
I have boots, yes.
Yeah.
Even now, if you call me to your team, I'll come and play.
Okay.
I'm a defender.
Well,
Yes.
Ashwyn you guys spoke a little bit about your online platform that you have. Why did you decide to start this platform? Why did you see a need for it? Why was it important for you to do this?
I think for me, the stress was like every time maybe you are looking for the log for the weekend, what games played, you just find out like, no, the log is not available anywhere or you can't find it. Then I'm like, okay, then why not cover it? So
Yeah.
I've decided to like, okay, no, it's fine.
Make
Then
it
let me-
easier for other football lovers
Yeah,
to
and-
also have access to this.
Yes, because I'm a graphic designer by profession. So I set up a website, I set up all the pages online, and Yeah.
You make things happen.
100.
Man of many talents, of course. Well, after this, we get to see if you can actually braai, because you did say that you know what you're doing here by the grill, but we get to test that once our kapana is ready. But I know Ashwyn wants to chat a little more, as well as Brian and Jevon, who are waiting. But we have a little bit surprise with the JSB segment, so stick around and see what Brian has cooking up at that part of the show. So viewers, do not move a muscle. We will be right back.
Well, viewers, I want to start off this segment on the right note. So my right-hand man is not with me today. Unfortunately, Jevon Wilson is on his way to Cape Town, where he will be celebrating his wife's birthday with her. So we have excused him from the show today. But that doesn't mean you guys won't be getting the good odds. That doesn't mean I won't be coming through with some betting tips for all of you, because lately, I mean, if we're being honest, between me and Jevon, who's been getting you guys the good odds? So you guys are in good hands. You don't have to stress, and I'll be making sure that you guys are sorted. Speaking of who has been giving you the good odds, if you guys remember what I said last week, PSG will definitely beat Inter Milan. Jevon, Ashwyn have all been saying that Inter Milan is the team to beat, but we do have the video clip from last weekend, so stay tuned as we have a look at what I predicted. This guy in the Ballon d'Or chats. Okay, I'm going to go PSG. I think if PSG can win this trophy, then Lautaro Martinez doesn't win the Ballon d'Or, and rather, do you know who I think is going to win it if PSG win this thing?
I'll say Dembele.
Ousmane Dembele. I'm saying it with my chest. If PSG lift the trophy, This guy deserves that award because he's been great for PSG. I haven't seen him in such good form in a very long time, so consistently. He's always disrupted by injuries, but with this season we saw he could carry his own, and he did come through for PSG. So I'm going to say PSG to win this game, and most probably maybe both teams to score. That will bump up your odds to maybe like a good 3 or 4. Put down $500 and you can walk away with a whooping $2,000. I don't want to call myself the football guru, although I might be, So I'm just putting it out there. Huge congratulations to PSG for lifting that wonderful trophy of the Champions League for the first time in their history. We have a lot of fixtures to look forward to this upcoming weekend. To start off with, we do have some World Cup qualifier matches, but that's the team that has done it, guys. Paris Saint-Germain crowned the champions of the Champions League for the first time in their history. That's just amazing for football. It's good news for football, and I like to see it. They take on Tottenham in the Supercopa. That's going to be very interesting, but that's a topic for another day. For now, let's have a look at the fixtures that we can look forward to with the World Cup qualifiers in Europe. So one of the big games I can definitely see is Israel taking on Estonia, Belgium playing North Macedonia, Wales play Liechtenstein, Czech Republic take on Montenegro, and one of my favorite games, I think I'm going to give, that's my best bet for the weekend. If you want to jump on, go ahead. If you don't, that's up to you. But Norway is playing Italy, and the odds are in favor of Norway, which I totally disagree. I think Italy is going to win that game comfortably. So I'm just going to put it out there and let you guys know that please jump on Italy's match against Norway. Italy is definitely going to win that game comfortably. Also, we do have some friendly matches. That are also taking place on Saturday. Nigeria play against Russia. I think that's going to be very interesting. Hungary take on Sweden. Morocco play against Tunisia. And then we have a look at the odds that are set for the weekend. If you just look at the top, like I said, the odds are very tight between the two teams. And that's my bet slip right there. So Norway take on Italy, 2.8 odds, 2.45. I am in favor of Norway. Lock that down, get yourself some money. So like I said, let's have a quick look at my bet slip. That just shows you guys how I'm planning on maneuvering with this bet slip. But one of my favorite games, Italy again, Czech Republic, Israel and Belgium. It comes in at 7 odds, $100 gets you 700, 200 gets you 1.4. Be brave, put down $500 and you can get 3.5. So the man from Cape Town, like I said, is not with us in studio today, but he does have his bets in order, so he's going to come through with his bets as well. But for me, viewers, that's all the time that I have for you, and please have a lovely weekend. Hopefully you guys get to win, so please listen when I talk. But for me, it is goodbye.
Action. Hi guys, Jevon Wilson here. Unfortunately, I can't be with you guys this week. As you can see, I'm in a lovely mother city. It's my wife's birthday, so we're here to celebrate. But anyways, back to business. I have a bet slip for you guys. It's a 6-fold. 26 odds, $50 gives you 1,400. Couple of international games. Obviously, the domestic season is now done. So we have Morocco taking up Tunisia. I think Morocco has a very strong suited side there, especially with Ashraf Hakimi being a Champions League winner now. So I would say they are a banker in that game. Belgium up against Wales, also a tricky one there, but Belgium, we all know the stars that they have there. A couple of good, decent players, so I'll go with the Belgium banker as well. And then finally with the bankers, I'll go with Poland to beat Finland. Inclusive in that bet, I should say, is Argentina and Colombia. Very tough game there. I'll go both teams to score, as well as Russia hosting our friends in West Africa, which is Nigeria. I'll go both teams to score as well. And then finally, Norway, which you know Holland is there. Good team, they're doing very well with the qualifiers and the international friendlies as well. They host Italy, which aren't too bad of a side. I think that's a high scoring game, both teams to score. But anyways, guys, that's me from the mother city, and I hope to see you guys next week. Cheers.
You're back and you're in the right place. This is In the Mix Africa. You're with Ashwyn and I am here with Mr. Jonathan Mbaha, sports journalist and a man who runs his own online platform, making sure people stay informed on the beautiful game. So, Jonathan, what made you want to start your platform?
Honestly speaking, I used to struggle to get information. Like, okay, there was a Premier League game, African Stars versus FC Onkos, for example. But then you will not find it in time, like unless you call like 3-4 people around, then you will get the information. Then I'm like, I'm a photographer. By then I was just doing photography.
Okay.
Then I'm like, I love the game. Why not venture into it?
Yes.
Start covering the games, create platforms that people will get feeds on like then and there and then, like
Timely.
direct.
And what's the feedback been like since you started the platform?
The feedback you can tell from the engagements, like people inboxing me, like, oh, what's up? I mean, like if I delay, for example, I'm stuck somewhere, then people will be asking me like, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah,
Isn't that interesting though? Like now you answer to them, you know,
Yes.
you came up with an idea, but they're fully aware that, you know, it serves them. For some people, you know, that can be frustrating, but I imagine for you, that was the whole point. So you can become the reference point.
Yes.
Yeah. And how does that feel for you?
No, it's a good feeling actually to be, I love serving. It's part of serving. That's why I say money comes last.
Yes.
First is the passion that you have for whatever you do. So my passion is like, like making sure, even if I'm like out of the country, I'm like just pressing on, making sure I collect relevant information, like from sources that are really good, that you know that, okay, this is like me.
Yes.
Yeah, I know all of them around, all the journalists. So I will verify the information if I wasn't there properly. But if I was there myself, then it's on time.
Was it difficult getting started?
Yes, it's difficult because you will find people that are challenging you. For
Competition.
And also like trying to say, no, we don't like that design. Why are you using those colors? You hear what I'm saying?
Nitpicking.
Yes.
And isn't that a little frustrating because you're filling a gap that wasn't being filled. And it's like, guys, you're focused on the colors, but I'm giving you the information that we didn't have.
100.
Yeah,
100.
It must be quite interesting to deal with that. Yes. So, are there any expansion plans for your platform?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Growing, speaking to different people, having different ideas, like introducing other things. Expansion there's always room for growth.
Always room for growth. Yes. All right, now Rorisang Mohojwe, our correspondent in Botswana, came through with some info on the Botswana Zebras' preparation for the COSAFA Cup. Of course, they've played a couple of games, but this is what the atmosphere was like surrounding them prior to the tournament.
Botswana is joining the rest of teams in Southern Africa in participating in the COSAFA 2025 Regional Cup tournament in Bloemfontein, South Africa. Now, this regional tournament is it's going to mark a make or break moment for the head coach, Morena Raborebudu, whose contract actually mandates a win or a COSAFA title win. We do know that this is more than just regional bragging rights for the teams that are participating, but it is actually a build-up to the to AFCON 2025, which will take place in Morocco. 8 of the 14 participating nations, including Botswana, will be using this tournament to sharpen their skills, test their squad depths and tactics, as well as build competitive momentum ahead of the continental showdown. Botswana will find itself, or will be in Group D alongside Angola and Zambia, and it's actually proving to be a high stakes environment, and that's going to evaluate the performance of the Zebras as well as the readiness of the Zebras. And we do know that other AFCON bound teams include the hosts, South Africa, Comoros, Mozambique, Zimbabwe and Tanzania, who have been invited from East Africa. But for Botswana, the pressure is definitely on, not just to perform, but to prove that they can compete at higher levels as they chase regional glory as well as continental impact.
right, we're getting into full time, which is the last segment of the show, but we like to pack it in. And of course, Patty will be joining us with that delicious, delicious food. And I'll tell you a bit about the recipe itself and where it came from. But prior to that, I'm still with Mr. Jonathan Mbaha, celebrated sports journalist. And we are now going to be talking about African stars headed to the CAF Champions League. They sorted out the Demerin Premier League. They seem to tick that box quite well year after year. I don't know if it's getting wary for the other teams, but I think the competition is coming up. But African Stars, a solid house, at least in Namibia. Do you think they can export that to the rest of Africa?
Yes, as you rightly said, African Stars have developed themselves properly in the country. But the African stage is very diverse. Different styles of play. Definitely they have to build more. Yes, get more players on board if they want to progress into the group stages.
All right.
So they need a lot of work to do. Even when you had the chairman at the beginning, when he gave his speech, he was telling, before the season, he said it like he wants to empower the club, bring more players that can participate. So I believe this is the time for them to strengthen themselves, because players can be good nationally, but African stage is another story.
So I have to ask then, do you feel we're just going there to participate, to feel it out, to see where we stand, or do you think there's a chance that African Stars is actually going to compete at the highest level of African club football?
Yes, look, African Stars have been participating now. I think this will be the third time.
Certainly.
If I'm not mistaken, yes. Meaning they know.
They know
yes,
what
they
they're
know.
dealing with. They know the environment. They know what they're dealing with.
100%. And in the squad, you have 3-4 players also that have been exposed to it.
Yes.
So they know their stories. And I believe with that experience, at least now they have built experience into the cup.
Yes.
So they have learned from their past mistakes. They now know, like, okay, for you to progress now, we need this.
Yes.
Or we need to expand ourselves in this way. So I believe.
You believe so?
This time.
I have to say, I have to ask, CAF Champions League win or not, can we solidify this generation of African stars, this particular generation, as a legacy? Can we say this particular generation, we should never forget this team?
It's difficult to say.
But you know what? It's easier to think when we are eating. So think about that one. The food is here. So as you can see, it's kapana and pap. But the way I called it, it's sadza and kapana. And it's also got another name. I call it sosus fleis. Do you hear that? Sosus fleis. Ah, yeah, exactly. I knew you'd like that. So the sosu is this. This is the mountain, all right? And that's the fleis, all right?
Okay.
But if you want to go Africa, this is not pap, it's sadza, Zimbabwe, kapana, Namibia. Either way, there is unity. And that's how I feel about this meal. I love this meal. And it's not because there are no vegetables. I know my wife is watching. It's not because there are no vegetables. I love vegetables. But something about an African man, where you just see brown, red, and white at the plate, and you feel like this is a complete meal. Please tell me more about it.
So our Briar took complete control over there, which I love to see. So I didn't spice the kapana as much. As you can see, I put a bit of paprika and kapana spice on the side. So if you like it spicy, there's spice for you. And of course, just a little relish for those of us who like to mix everything up. You know, like I said in the beginning, it's a simple, easy, we all love it dish.
All right, 100%. I'm glad you said that, because I needed defense on my whole vegetable line. Okay, so as we wrap up, I'm going to bring you the question one more time. I said legacy. What I meant to say is dynasty. Should we remember this stretch of African Stars performances as a dynasty?
Yeah, I think I agree with you.
All right, okay, look at us agreeing as we end the show. That's the best way to get into a meal, after an agreement. You know, you eat differently when you've been arguing with someone, but when you agree, I think everything is fine. So as we dig into this, into the sadza, as well as the meat over here, thank you for watching In The Mix Africa. We truly enjoyed it. And do make sure that you do not miss the show. Follow us on all platforms. From us in the studio, stay African, stay proud.